Okay, so here we are in Adobe Camera Raw. I'm just going to quickly go through some of the settings I used for this image. I kept the color temperature as it is, straight from camera, and sometimes I will adjust that. But we've got quite a mixture of light in here. We've got obviously the cool blues of the ambient light, and mixed in with that, we've got obviously daylight balanced flash from the flash gun inside the pumpkin head, which didn't really make a lot of odds because it's obviously because the pumpkin skin's orange. It's come out slightly warm. We don't mind that, and we've also got the warmth from the flashlight. So we've got quite a mixture here. So it's not. I could adjust this, but I'm leaving it as it is for now. We can go into post production and do some more fine tuning if we want to. The exposure I increased slightly here. If we hold down the Alt key and drag the slider along, you can see where the highlights are clipping out. Now the actual head of the pumpkin is quite hot. It's quite burnt out there. I don't dislike it as it is, but I am actually going to do something about that. We've got some bridged images that we shot, some of the frames, and I'm going to probably put a slightly darker pumpkin head onto this frame. So no worries there. We've covered ourselves with that. I did use a recovery slider to just recover a little bit of highlight detail from there, like so. What else we got? The blacks I increased to 4, set to 4. We want to kind of keep a lot of mood in this picture. I don't want a nice kind of well exposed, open, shadowed image because it just wouldn't suit the scene at all. And I think you've got to consider that when you're doing these type of images. There's no such thing as a perfect exposure. It's depending on what you want to convey in the picture. That's how I approach stuff anyway. So we increased the contrast to 51, clarity was plus 90, vibrance plus 48, saturation plus 32. So we're keeping a lot of colour in this picture, keeping it nice and punchy. Detail here, we increased the luminance noise reduction. I had to shoot this one on 400, so I've increased that just to smooth out some of the grain or the noise, whatever you want to call it, slightly. And also, I tend to keep the color noise reduction up around 25. The next one is the color adjustments in here. On the hue, I've adjusted the hue of the yellows and also the blues slightly. We've made the yellows go a little bit more orangey, and I made the blues go a little bit more blue rather than cyan. If I just slide this across, that's going slightly more cyan, and this way it's going a bit more blue. We don't want to go too far because it goes a bit too, it goes almost purple there, so just bring that across as far as we need to. And remember, we're kind of fine tune it as much as we can before we take it to Photoshop. We can obviously adjust it a little bit further when we get over there. The oranges I've just shifted a little bit as well, just to adjust the pumpkin head, and also it adjusts the colour of the grass here as well. The saturation, I've adjusted the saturation on the oranges, the yellows slightly, just to give them keep them quite nicely saturated. Luminance, what luminance does, or what I've done with luminance in this particular image, is that I've actually darkened the blues. So if I just drag this luminance slider across on the blues, you can see that's going quite dark. It's going a little bit flat if you go too far. So I've just dropped this down slightly just to keep the sky nice and dark and quite brooding. So that's that for those settings. The next one we've got that I've used is the lens correction. What I've done in this one, you don't need to touch this if you don't want to, but I find that the chromatic aberration, I do tend to get a little bit of that in some of the images from the 1DS Mark II. So I tend to switch this on to all edges, and that just takes care of that, or pretty much anyway. Underneath that, we've got lens vignetting. Now, I sometimes, well, nearly always, when I'm retouching images, is darken the edges of the picture. You can actually do this in Adobe Camera Raw, and if you notice here, I'm just sliding this dark. If you watch the edges now, I'm sliding this down towards the darker end of the scale, and you can also adjust the midpoint, and that just allows the viewer's eye just to go naturally to the center of the image, and it just darkens the edges. I won't get too far because I'm always probably going to darken it a little bit anyway in Photoshop in post-production, but you can add that at this stage. And I believe that was pretty much it for the Camera Raw settings. So from here we can open this image up in Photoshop and start doing some of the retouching.